This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Time show, Pulse 95 Radio with your boy Omar Adori live in the heart of Sharjah. And when you hear that fight music, you know there's going to be a fire and a cracking of a show on today on Pulse 95 Radio. Who's going to be on the show today? Well, let me tell you now. He's known as the Dynamite. And what we're going to be doing today is Waleed Din is coming on the show. We'll talk all about boxing, not just in the region, but also worldwide. Make sure you find out what we're doing by staying tuned across the hour from 3 to 4 on Pulse 95 Radio with your boy Omar Duri live on the Halftime Show on Pulse 95 Radio.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time, and what a time it is to be on the Halftime Show on Pulse 95 Radio. Shout out to everyone who's tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, pulse95radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, or if you're chilling at home watching us live on YouTube. Thank you very much for connecting with us on the hour. And what a special guest we have in store for you today. The Dynamite himself, Waleed Din, is here on the show. Waleed, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you for having me on, Omar. I appreciate it.
It's great to have you down. We've known each other for a while now, and I've seen obviously the growth and the amazing stuff you're doing here. But let's get started with how you got into boxing and where was that?
Well, I'm born and raised in Sheffield, England. A very late starter to boxing. The first time I went to a boxing gym was when I was 15.
That's considered a late starter?
Very late start.
Okay.
To boxing, yeah. And I remember my first time when I started, I had these 7-8-year-olds teaching me my footwork. 7-8 years old, and like 15 years later, these guys are turning professional themselves.
Okay.
So it's nice to watch them grow. But yeah, that was my first experience of boxing. I was 15 years old in Sheffield.
And when you say that's late, what's the right time?
I mean, a lot of the professionals that have reached the pinnacle of the sport have started boxing at 6-7 years old.
Oh, wow.
I was young as 7 years old, yeah. 6-7 years old. It's a good age to start.
And you make me think about that now. 6-7 years old, that obviously requires the support of the families. What if they don't have that support?
If you don't have the support, you're not going to go very far, to be honest.
Really?
You need your family's support, your family's blessings.
Yeah.
With myself, I've been very fortunate. My father supported me a lot. From 14, 15 till 25, 26. I've never had to work a day in my life. That's because of my father more than anything.
Amazing. And what is it about boxing that drew you in at 15?
At 15, when I walked into them doors, the smell of a boxing gym, those that have been to a proper old school gym, they'll know what I'm talking about with that smell.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I saw one kid shadow boxing inside the ring. He was about 7-8 years old, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. I wish I can do that. And I was twice his age.
Wow.
That was my first experience. And yeah, I just kept plugging away. The first day in the gym, I never looked back. And here I am now, sat with Mr. Alduri. I'm happy.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that I think a lot of people that have witnessed your journey. And by the way, for those that don't know, when people have worked with Waleed, if they've been coached by him, or if they've trained him, or if they've been around him, there's a certain swag, there's a certain flow about him that those that know. And I've spoken to coaches who've worked with him, by the way, and they say exactly the same thing. One of the most talented, athletes out there. You got back into it recently. What made you get back into it after a little break?
When I moved to Dubai in 2017, I just came on holiday just to see my sister. She lives in this region as well.
Yeah.
And I still had dreams to continue my boxing. But then when I got here and I started work, I was working full-time in a boxing gym. I was managing the gym. I was the head coach for 5-6 years. So all my focus was on other people. Yeah. I had a group of fighters that I trained and I invested my time in them. Clients, keep fitters. So all my time was taken up with other people. Yeah. Recently, I was supposed to box last year in Pakistan. Okay. In June. Yeah. I took myself out of Dubai back to England to focus on my training, focus on myself. Yeah. When I landed in Pakistan, the show got cancelled. Well, sorry, my fight got cancelled. The show still went ahead. Okay. And then I fell out of love again. Yeah. And then I had a good phone call with a nearby gym. Okay. And they said, "You're still young. Why didn't we give it another shot, another chance?" So I'm really grateful to Round 10 Boxing Club.
Okay, amazing. I wanted to ask you, a lot of people kind of surpass it and they look past it normally when it comes down to you coaching but also fighting. How do you strike the right balance? Because obviously you put your heart and soul into coaching people and working with them on technique, and then you have to fight, and then you have to be on fight mode and you go on a fight camp. How do you strike the right balance to do both?
Having good people that I coach, that I train, having good energy, good people around me that motivate me as well. You're one of them yourself.
Thank you.
Having you walk into the gym, training you. For me, I don't regard this as work. Like it's my passion. I enjoy boxing. And when I teach other people, I'm still teaching myself the good basics, the good footwork. It's stuff that I do myself. So it's good to refresh up my own memory as well when I'm training other clients. I'm finding the balance. 2 hours in the morning working, 2 hours in the evening. I've still got the entire day to train myself, focus on myself. So I'll always find time for something that I really want.
Is it something for those people that are looking for their why? You know, because you found what you do and why you do it. What advice would you give those people who might know that they're passionate about something but don't necessarily follow that career path? What advice would you give those people?
I mean, passion is one thing. I'm passionate for boxing, passionate for coaching, but I have to be honest as well. I have bills to pay.
Yeah.
If there's no reward, if there's no financial reward with my passion, I get to a certain age where I have to make up my mind. Do I want to pursue my passion and then reach 50 years old with not a penny in the bank? Like I was boxing full time to 25, 26, and I didn't really make
Pulse 95.
Every weekday from 7 a.m. Grab a coffee and take a seat
I
at
didn't
the
really make
morning
any
matches.
penny from boxing till I was 25, 26. And that was me pursuing my passion.
Into our
So passion only gets
Join
you
us
so
for
far. I
all
got
the
to a
latest
certain
news
age
updates from all
where
around the world.
I had to
be
make
it
a
business
decision. Do I
and
continue pursuing my passion? Or do I start making a living as well? So I was grateful for the chance I got when I first moved to Dubai to combine both together. I was still in a boxing gym, still pursuing my passion to a certain degree. So yeah, I was just happy to pass on the stuff I learned over the years onto other people. It's very rewarding.
Okay, amazing. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back after this.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. Halftime show, Pulse 95 Radio. Shout out to everyone who is locked in. Shout out to Kieran as well, who's probably watching this on YouTube right now. Her brother gave her a bit of a shout earlier. We have to give her a proper shout now because otherwise I will not hear the end of it. So shout out to Kieran as well. And of course, my beautiful mum who's always tuned in. Right, okay. Waleed is on the show. Yeah, man, I'm not joking. Yeah, he's here. And you know what is? It is another one. And he's here live in the studio, finally, in Pulse 95 Radio. Waleed, before we took a break, we spoke about, you getting back into boxing. And one of the things I was really happy about is seeing you get quite active recently. What have you been up to recently?
So I've had 2 fights in November 24th in the UAE and November 30th in Thailand.
Okay.
So I had 2 fights back to back in the space of 6 days. Yeah, what an experience.
Wait, hold on. That's not cash. You had 2 fights in the space of 6 days in 2 different countries.
Correct, yeah.
You can't just be like putting that under the cover. That is next level. So you've been training. I know you've been getting yourself ready for it. That's something you have to tell people because otherwise people can start booking fights. So again, talking about the experience of getting back into the ring in the UAE first, and then what made you decide to head out to Thailand and then take another fight within short notice? Yeah,
so for the past 3 months, I've just dedicated all my time and energy into myself, onto my training, because I've always wanted to fight again.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years since I had my last fight, which is a very long time in boxing. I got a phone call from Round 10 Boxing Club if I was interested in boxing the crypto event, which happened in the UAE. November 24th, which I agreed to. And a week before that fight, I got a phone call from one of my students from Pakistan, Usman Wazir.
Okay.
And he was defending.
He's big.
He's doing really well.
Yeah.
He's the WBO Youth World Champion.
Yeah.
And he always wants me to be in his corner wherever he fights.
Right.
So I said, I've got 2 conditions.
Yeah.
You have to get me a fight on the show. And of course, wherever I go, I take Adam with me.
Yes.
He's one of my students as well.
Shout out to Adam as well.
Shout out Adam.
Yeah.
So he agreed. So a week before the fight, it was confirmed in Thailand as well. But it was a bit difficult at the time because I never want to look too far ahead.
Yeah.
Because in boxing, one punch can change everything.
Correct.
So I had the fight in Dubai, November 24th, which I won 6 rounds.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, we flew out to Thailand to have my 13th pro fight.
5 years. I have to ask this question because there's mixed views on it. Is there such thing as ring rust? Because you didn't show that.
I mean, I didn't perform the way I wanted to. I was really disappointed in the performance. Speaking to people whose opinion matters to me as well.
Yeah.
They were disappointed as well, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, of course, because I know I'm better than this.
But you didn't show ring rust,
I thought I showed a lot of ring rust.
did you?
Yeah.
In what sense?
Because the person I was fighting, if you look at his record, he's got a 50-50 record.
Right.
He's won 20, lost 20. But he's been very active. But he's been knocked out like 12, 13 times. So someone like myself, I know what I'm capable of. I should be taking people like him out in a round or two. That's what I really believe. So I got the 6 rounds out the way. And then, yeah, I was just looking forward to the Thailand show, to be honest.
Yeah.
I knew I can't do that again. If I went another 6 rounds in Thailand, I'd be thinking, is this really me? Like, yeah, so I was just glad that the Thailand one went very well.
It did, and we put that highlight, by the way, on my countdown when I was telling people you were coming on the show, and I have to say the feedback was awesome. People were super excited to hear that you're coming on radio. Is this your first radio experience?
It is indeed, yeah.
Okay, so that's a first for Waleed, which is great. Don't get too many of those, so so super happy about that. And then you tackled Thailand, and Thailand. Did you know much about your opponent before you went out there?
I asked for a couple of opponents, so we always get like a list of 5-6 opponents, and we get to choose one. The people they sent to me, there was no videos whatsoever, so it was just a bit of a gamble, to be honest, in the end. A bit dangerous because I don't have a coach myself as well. I've just been training myself, and I train alongside Adam.
Yeah.
And we just bounce off each other, we learn off each other, we correct each other's form.
Yeah.
So the Thailand one was a bit of a risk, but because I gave my word a week before that I will come and I will help you out in the corner, I thought, why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Help out Usman in his fight, in his corner, and fight myself. But yeah, there was no videos. But yeah, I got the job done, so I'm happy.
Sure did. We're going to take a quick break before the Asr prayer, but when we get back, make sure you send your questions into Waleed at 4215 or slide into my DMs at Omar Duri on Instagram or Pulse 95 Radio on Instagram. We'll be right back after this.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
That show, Pulse 95 Radio with your boy Omar Duri. If you do miss the show, guys, don't worry, you can catch all of our podcasts on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, or if you prefer a visual, head over to our YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio, and we are there with some of the best guests in the country and globally coming on the show just for you. So make sure you check that out. Subscribe, like, and share, all that good stuff. And speaking about that good stuff, Waleed Din is on the show today. What show it's been so far? 2 segments in, third one coming up. And one of the things I'm very intrigued about, Waleed, which we don't get a chance to talk about in the game, is normally some of the obstacles that boxers face today. Now, seeing that you're an active boxer, an active coach, so you get to see it from so many different angles. What kind of challenges do you face as a boxer, and what kind of challenges do you face as a coach?
The challenges as a boxer, I would say there's a lot more challenges back home in England for myself with ticket sales. So, for example, a typical fight in England, a professional fight, you would get allocated maybe 100 tickets at £40-50 a ticket. So £4,000 you have to bring to the table before you fight yourself. You might think 100 tickets is not a lot, but when you have to ask people to come and support you, £40-50 still a lot of money for your working class person in England. So a lot of obstacles in England. In Dubai, it's a lot more laid back, a lot more relaxed in terms of there's no ticket sales. You don't have to sell tickets. If you sell 1, you sell 100. Good job either way. So there's not as many obstacles in Dubai being a professional boxer, as the sport's still quite new. As a coach, the obstacles, I'm heavily invested with the people that I teach as fighters. Like heavily invested, as a lot of my students are very young, ranging from 8 years old. Saeed.
He's been on the show.
Saeed has, So Saeed, for example, is 8 years old, 8-9 years old. Sorry, Saeed, I forgot how old you are. But he's very young. I've been training him for about 3 years now. His birthday is February 1st. It just came back to
You
me.
just made up for it now.
It just came back to me.
Okay.
So yeah, someone like Saeed, for example, his parents, of course, they trust me with their son. So when he fights, I need to make sure that, first of all, he's not going to get hurt. He trains hard in the gym, and I do my job as a coach to make sure he learns, which is why I teach a lot. I always start with the feet, so footwork for myself is very important. As worst comes to worst, we can always move. Yeah, if you don't want to get hit, if you got good footwork, you're not going to get hit. The other obstacles are with a lot of my teenagers. They come to me 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week. It's not a lot.
Right.
It's nothing. What they do in their spare time, what they do outside of school when they're home also matters as well. But I can't keep track on that.
Yeah.
As much as I like to, I have to take their word for it sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, obstacles. The parents trust me heavily with their children. So yeah, when they fight, of course I need to make sure they don't get hurt. But sometimes in this region as well, it's difficult to match accordingly.
Why?
It's difficult because, for example, I had a kid who I trained once. He had his first fight, and I'm very honest when I speak to other gyms about the people that I train. So if somebody's quite raw, I'll tell the other gym, my lad is raw. Please make sure your lad, his level is similar. And when one of my lads boxed someone from a different gym, the kid was very experienced. It's evident that he was very experienced, which is not fair.
Yeah.
So what are you gaining out of getting a 14-year-old beat up?
Does that happen a lot in today's?
It happens a lot, yeah.
Okay.
It happens a lot. One incident that happened with myself just before I had my fight in the UAE. I asked the lads, what do you weigh? I need some sparring. And he told me his weight. And I was like, that's fine, because I'm very light naturally. I'm always quite light. I always walk about at my fighting weight. So this lad came to the gym, and when we sparred, I thought to myself, he hits hard. Harder than someone at that weight class.
Yeah.
So after
you
the
can
spar,
tell.
Yeah. After the spar, I made him get on the scales. Of course, he was reluctant.
Yeah.
But what I say goes.
Yeah.
So I got him on the scales, and he was like 1.5 stone, 2 stone heavier than he said.
Oh,
and I was
wow.
like, come on, like, what are you doing?
And that's not kgs, that's a stone.
1.5 stone,
Yeah.
About 9 kilo, 10 kilo heavier than what he told me he was.
Wow.
Which is maybe 8 divisions in boxing. Because from my division and the next one up is 2 pounds difference.
Right.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
But 2 pounds is a completely different weight class in boxing.
Yes.
So I just find people in boxing, they're just not very honest sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm very honest.
Yeah.
Try to
too
be.
honest.
Try to be.
I also gotta ask you, like, there is this stigma around boxing that sometimes it's not always leading first on honesty when it comes down to making the best decisions for their fighters. Why is there a cloud over boxing for those people that don't really know much about it?
With myself, I've always been very fortunate to have my father supporting me growing up, and he knows quite a bit about boxing himself, so of course no one can pull a fast one on me when it comes to boxing.
Yeah.
But some people are not as fortunate. People from my background as well, being a British Pakistani, we don't really know much about boxing. And we take people's word at face value, like whatever they say we believe.
Yeah.
So it's difficult sometimes, because when you turn professional, it's no longer a sport, it's a business.
Yeah.
It's a business. And I learned myself the business side to it. I had an issue with my manager and promoter at the time, but I was tied up in a contract, 3-year contract. So I couldn't box for 2 years. I have no fault of my own. So as long as you have good people around you, you'll be all right, it's fine. And someone that actually cares for you, a trainer more than anything. My trainer, Keith Palmer, for 15 years, I was in very good hands. And it's a shame really that he's not based in this region.
Right.
Because if he was, I'm sure I'd get back to my old self.
Yeah.
So he's someone that, of course, I'm very grateful for. I still speak to him. But yeah, it's just not the same thing. Not having him in my corner, to be honest.
How do you stay fit mentally when you have to cope with such obstacles?
My coach, once again, Keith Palmer, he taught me the mental aspect is way more important than the physical aspect, because we can all run. We all hit the bags more or less the same way. There's nothing special with my bag and your bag. We hit it the same way. Right, but when we're on the bag, what are we thinking, for example? What are we visualizing? The mental aspect, I was taught from a very young age from my coach from Sheffield, and it's just stuck with me. I think when you do something for 10, 15 years full time, it becomes a part of you. So myself, my mental game, it's one of my benefits. It's something that I really stick to.
Excellent. Wow. Okay, what a good segment. We're going to take a quick break, play you some Pharrell Williams, Beyonce, Water. Enjoy it.
This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95 Radio, and I can't believe it's almost full time on the halftime show. What a show it's been so far with my boy Waleed Din. He is here and he's doing it big. So make sure you show love and subscribe to the channel Pulse 95 Radio on YouTube and also, of course, our podcast. Right, okay. One of the things I've watched you do, Waleed, for a number of years now is coach teenagers, coach kids, get them doing the basics really, really well to build a foundation. What is it about teens that kind of gets you coaching them? And also, are you coaching any teens at the moment?
Yes, so I'm currently based in Round 10 Boxing Club. I've been there for the past couple of months. I teach the youth classes, the teenager classes. I also do adult classes as well.
Okay.
Where I actually teach boxing. I do the box fit classes as well.
Yeah.
But where I really shine myself and where what I really enjoy more than anything is teaching, whether it's the youth, it's the teens or the adults. I've been training the youth for the past 3 months full time, 4 times a week. They will start this sparring this week as well.
Okay.
So after 3 months of learning with myself, they'll start sparring. It's 4 times a week. So if anyone's listening that has children at the same age, 6 years plus to 17, 18, 19, I'm happy to teach yourselves. You'll be in safe hands.
And you've always got a plan. I noticed you just said now that it's been 3 months before they've sparred. So you've actually kind of watched them, you've studied them, you've educated them as well on the basics. How important is it to kind of plan these things in advance?
Yeah, so some children that come to the gym, the teens, of course, they're at that age, 14, 15, 16, where they think they're ready to start swinging at that age. So I've had to tell a few of the kids off inside the gym, like, maybe you don't like getting hit. It looks good on the video games on the TV, but maybe when you get punched in the nose and your eyes start to water up, maybe you think this is not for me, right? So I said, let's take our time. There's no rush. If I'm not in a rush to teach, why are you guys in a rush? Just give me 6 months, 3 to 6 months, and I guarantee I'll do my job where when you spar, you're not going to get hurt at least. I've seen some videos online of people sparring and they're covered in blood. I said, I don't believe in that. I said, I can count on my hands the amount of time I've been hit clean in 15 years. And that's on one hand.
Yeah.
Just had to put that out there.
That's all right. If you're watching on YouTube, you would have seen the expression that he just gave. You know, and by the way, if you've seen him in action as well, you'll know exactly what we're talking about, and you can check out his Instagram. What's your Instagram?
It's Waleed9, the number 9. Waleed9.
Waleed, the number 9, and make sure again you check it out because he's got a lot of these things that he talks about and he preaches on his social media, on his clips. Even with him teaching, he posts some stuff on that as well. And thank you for coming on the show, man.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor, Omar. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you too. And hey, listen, guys, that was supposed to be his first radio debut, and he smashed it. So fantastic. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Remember, guys, you catch it every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 3 to 4 UAE time. And if you do miss the show, head over to YouTube, check out Pulse 95 Radio, and you can see the full episode of Waleed with myself on the halftime show. That's full time on the halftime show. Take care, stay blessed. And coming up next is Aisha Al-Mazmi.